Good to see you.
Marks the 43rd consecutive sellout in Austin FC history, continuing the league's active longest streak. With that said, we'll pass it over to head coach Josh Wolff for an opening statement. Josh?
Really proud of the guys. Obviously, for us, this has been coming, as I've said to the players now for a couple weeks, as I've said to you guys. The group's growing. They're discovering who this 2023 version is. It's next man up. It's real character, real grittiness, guttiness, and knowing it's going to be challenging in any season, but the ability to keep grinding and pushing and knowing that there's something better on the other side. The fans tonight, the atmosphere was awesome, incredible. We got a new Marvel character, which I think is pretty cool. We'll be able to rock that, but I thought they were great. I think the supporter section, the entire place was helping our guys. We had some leggy guys, and it was always going to be difficult. It's challenging against Toronto. They have a number of players that you're not familiar with. We have some guys that we had to rotate in, and it's going against the back five. It's just challenging until you get that first goal where you can kind of unlock them and force them. But the guys hung in there and grinded. And Giasi comes in with another very important goal. But there were a lot of really, really good performances. Leo, Julio, and Alex have been so key to our group and certainly our stability with and without the ball. Sophian came in, having not played minutes, suffered and hung in there. Adam came in and contributed. So contributions all around, but really, really collective effort and a great, again, a very solid performance that got us a result that we deserved.
Thanks, Josh. Katie?
How much hair have you lost so far?
You tell me.
None.
I'm just kidding.
Hair
great.
have I lost in gray hair?
No, but I felt like this game tonight felt a little more reminiscent of the Verde that we saw last season. Lots of possession, lots of opportunities, goals scored, game won, late goals. Just tell me what your thoughts are about that. Seems like you guys are starting to kind of turn a new leaf here as you're moving into the season. Yeah,
I think it's I think there's a lot in this game. I think Toronto's missing some key guys. We're missing some key guys. We're at home, so you want to you're in the midst of a lot of games, a lot of minutes for a lot of players, on both teams. So you want to control tempo. You want to control the game. For me, I think for most coaches, they want a level of control when they have the ball, and they want to find a level of control when they don't have the ball. I thought both sides of the ball, we were extremely good, and we pushed the tempo. We pushed them in the first half. We didn't reward ourselves with a goal, and that was the only thing lacking. Defensively, press after loss was very good. They had very little to do with it. And you can always say they didn't play well, but oftentimes the opponent forces you to not play well. So I thought our guys did a really good job. Like last year, I don't know. This is a different group. We've got new players, new voices, new leaders coming forward, and we knew we needed to evolve, and we still need to evolve and keep growing. So we don't lose sight of the big picture. I don't think we get carried away when we lose games, and we don't get too carried away when we win games. And as a player and a coach, I've stayed that way my entire life, and I'll stay that way now. We'll review this game. There's lots of positives, but there's stuff we got to get better at. We're nowhere close to being a polished group, but proud of the guys, proud of these fans, and obviously happy to continue to win and move up the table.
Go ahead, Zach.
For Giasi, I know he talked about how big that goal in Seattle was, and then he also said he was looking forward to scoring here. What was your conversations with him like after the game in terms of how excited he was to just kind of get off the schneid here?
Yeah, well, I think for G, it's simple. It's just we got to get him service, and sometimes it's making opportunities out of little, opportunities. It's not an easy finish. He did a great job with that. Maxi put in a big shift, so I think Giasi can be a starter. He can come in as a reserve, and I think our reserves tonight contributed well. But for Giasi, again, to me, his greatest quality is his mentality. I think it takes a lot to take the abuse and the criticism that media gives, that fans give, and it's been his whole career for some unknown reason. The guy's got over 100 goals, and I live in a space where I'm always saying you can't score enough goals, but it's really the case for him. He's going to get scrutinized, but he comes to work every day, packs his lunch. Him and Will are always doing extra work after training, whether it's with coaches, with players, on their own. So all the credit goes to Giasi. He keeps pushing and grinding, and again, his quality in front of goal has always been clear. We got to continue to get him service, and Maxi and Will, and find contributions from the group to help us win games.
And then you mentioned that you did a lot of good things on both ends tonight. For the first 90 minutes, how frustrated were you?
I think, I think you can always generate better chances. I think the set pieces put them under a lot of pressure. Legginess can cause a little bit of indecision or poor decision or final execution lacking. But, we can, I think, the short takeaway for me is there's a lot of good where we have the ball, we control, we get into good spots. What's that final act look like? How are we really convincing ourselves that we're going to score a goal? And I think that lacked a little bit, but it is challenging. They're back five. They got a lot of guys in the box, 5-4-1. So the guys hung in there, and unfortunate not to get one earlier, but we got it in the end. And again, I think it helps continue morale and keep us growing.
Yeah, Josh. Obviously, not exactly the kind of goal you can really draw up, but when a team is packing, it in defense and there's no space in the box, is that kind of the goal that you really are, kind of game planning or hoping does come, one that kind of is on a second ball, a broken play like that?
Well, I think it's a few things. When they are low, and we've talked about what teams do here at Q2 often. We've seen it now for 2+ years. Sitting low, reducing space behind the lines, reducing space between lines. There was opportunities in the first half for us to get after them. In transition, we should have been better. As the game goes on, they fatigue. The game slows down. There's a reduction of space, and you still have to try to keep getting to end lines. And as we did against Seattle, those areas of the field can become unsettling. But the service that we typically get from Johnny, Hector, Nicky, Z, and now Adam, from those little half spaces early when there's space behind the line, become really valuable for not just for the first action, as you've seen us score many goals like that, but for that second action, the second effect. And numbers are in the box. It's hard to clear when that ball's hanging like that. And again, the guys hung in there. Nicky backheads it off the crossbar, and then G does well with it. But the pressure, I think the constant pressure is wearing for the opposition. So, we got to get better in some areas for sure. But pleased with the result, and we'll look forward to 3 or 4 days before the next game.
And then obviously I know, a big frustration for you guys coming into tonight was not having, played as well at home as you guys would have wanted and not getting those results. So how satisfying is it to leave tonight with 3 points?
Yeah, I think it's just that. It's actually getting the goals and the goal and the result. I think some of the performances have been good, and that's coach talk. You guys probably think I'm full of it, but I think some of those performances have been good, and the validation for players, players, fans is the goals and winning. And we got to keep calm, keep talking and working in a way that's digestible for the players, and obviously encouraging, and do everything we can to keep confidence high and support one another. And now, as you turn the page, so to speak, you pick up momentum, and the guys feel better about where we're at, where we're going, and I think it's a testament to the entire group. You don't lose sight of the goal. The goal is to be in the playoffs, to be in a top 4 position, to have home field advantage. And we got Open Cup ambitions along the way. We have Leagues Cup, so we don't lose sight of our goals.
Josh, this was the first MLS Austin FC start for Sophian.
Yeah.
So what improvements have you seen from him since the start of the season, and that led you to this decision to start him tonight? And then what did you like from him tonight?
Yeah, a couple things for that. I mean, some of the starts tonight, Danny Pereira, we have to be mindful of minutes. I think Emi Rigoni and Adam Lundqvist have the highest volume, the most minutes, the highest volume. So we're a little leery of continuing to push them. Danny was, another person I was contemplating between Johan starting and Danny. And Sophian, we knew he was going to need to go significant minutes. We were hoping we could try to get him out, but we had to continue to make attacking subs. So he hung in there. He was cramping and struggled, but physically. But he's a good player. He comes from, obviously, we had him in our group a few years ago when he was in college. He played for Terry Boss, or one of the assistant coaches. So the background is quite clear. He comes from a positional play structure. He's very aware of his positioning as a 6 or a 10, and he's a technical player. So I think he's going to only grow from this performance and get fitter. And we'll have to utilize him going forward. We're in this Saturday, Wednesday for a couple more weeks, few more weeks. But I was pleased with this performance.
And then just another question. Maybe a lot of people here in the room don't know it. 25 years ago this week, you made your professional debut and scored in your professional debut playing for Bob Bradley in Chicago. Having a chance to match wits with Bob on the touchline, getting, I think, your first one as a coach against Bob. What does it mean for you to go against Bob? What impact has he had on your coaching career? What does that all mean to you to be able to coach against him, knowing the profound effect he's had on your career?
Yeah, I think Bob's had a profound effect on many young coaches or many coaches in the league, past players. For me, it was a big impact as a player. I landed in Chicago, and we had Bob Bradley, Dennis Hamlet was a coach. Tommy Sohn was one of the staff, but a really good group. I think the group itself was very strong and young. It was an expansion team, but Bob took, he takes the job very serious. He's a teacher, he's a developer, and I think that's who he is at his core. He's had success everywhere he's been. He is amongst, if not the best coach, in U.S. soccer history, or certainly in this country with Bruce Arena. I've coached against him a couple times, so yeah, it was nice to get a win. But I'm appreciative of everything I experienced under him as a player, knowing what it looked like as a coach, seeing what he put into his craft and the work and the detail and the communication to all players and staff is, a lot of ways. That's how I view the space, and it's constantly wanting to get better. It's constantly getting feedback, and I ask the likes of Brian Schmetzer and Bob Bradley's and Greg Vanney's, for feedback, criticism, because I have to continue to get better. But they're the best coaches, and that's what I look for.
Coach, for all 90 minutes, it was a pretty physical game. How would you assess your team's ability to respond to that physicality?
I think it's good. I think when I look at Julio's ability to compete, Alex is a warrior. Leo has his way of unsettling oppositions. Johan, Pepe. Sophian's a little bit more of an elegant player. I wouldn't say he doesn't tackle, but he cruises effortlessly out there. But I think the work that the front line puts in, again, it's a real reminder of what our league's about. If you don't match the intensity, the physicality, and the show the desire from the get-go with your intentions, it can be a long game. But a lot of fouls, a lot of chippy. Referee had a tough time managing all of it. But all in all, nothing got carried away. And they have some players. They're grinders, fighters as well. There's plenty of internationals on that other side. So. We said it was going to be tough. We knew it was going to be tough. The guys answered that bell, and I'm glad they got the result in the end.
Coach, you got back-to-back wins after some challenges the last several weeks.
Yeah.
Does it feel like the team has maybe turned a corner or maybe found something that wasn't there a few weeks ago?
I think they're discovering who we are. I think we've got new guys that are stepping up, next man up mentality, and we know we're going to get healthy. We got Julio back. It's kind of touch and go. He's in for a week. He's out. Diego's coming back in and obviously going to have more minutes as we go forward, but it's important for him to come in and perform. We've scored goals over the last few weeks, so that also gives, again, the validation for the players and the rest of the group. And wins, goals, and good performances are what do it. And have we turned the corner? I don't know. I mean, we got a long ways to go. Chicago had a rocky game tonight, but I know they're a good team. I know Frank Close, that entire staff. I've known, you talk about Bob Bradley. There's some guys that I know fondly. And it's going to be a challenging Open Cup, but we need the same energy, the same atmosphere. These fans got to keep coming, and we got to keep performing for them. And winning at home is paramount to our success. And I was really pleased with the guys to get our second win here, and hopefully propel us into a real good performance against Chicago on Wednesday.
And now I want to turn the tables a little bit on, instead of Coach Wolff, Father Wolff. Well, your thoughts on your son's play in the Under-22 World Cup?
I thought he did okay. There's things that we could certainly, he could be better. But it's a first games of competitions like elimination. When you're in a tournament, first game is extremely important. I thought they did a good job. They deserved the win. It took a little longer than they probably would have liked. I know the feeling. I thought Owen did a good job. He's playing a little bit higher position. The assist is obviously a good job coming inside, but I think Jonathan does really, really well with that. But it's a deserved result. I think they were the better team. I think they looked like they were in control. I'm happy for Owen. Hopefully he continues to get minutes and perform. But I think this environment that he has here, that he's grown in and developed in, has helped propel them. I think Owen and Danny are a couple of our younger guys, Z as well, and it's a big part of what we're about. And whether you're my son or not, it's irrelevant. It's good to see our players perform at a global stage, and we wish them the best going forward.
We have time for two more, just to make sure you guys are able to speak with players. We can go to Colby Gordon right next to you, please.
thought Lima had a quietly very good game. Did you see that as well?
Yeah,
Maybe
solid.
playing more up the field.
Yeah, I think for Nick, we've used when we're building up at times, we use him as a right side center back. I think Johnny, Nick, Adam, they have engines that are quite useful. I think that's part of Adam giving him some rest. We rested him against New Mexico, so being mindful of these minutes. Those are the guys that logged the most distance, the high speed running. Nicky was good in dueling, certainly good in getting up the line. Got us a lot of service, which generated corner kicks. Again, I think we're going to need that from everybody, and he's useful in a lot of ways. I think I can move him like Johnny. I can move him around the field as needed. It's good to see these guys continue to perform.
Hi, Coach. Piggyback off of his question, the physical part. I thought Rodney and I don't want to botch his name, Aime Mabika. That was an interesting battle. He really tried to keep his own. Can you talk a little bit about his performance tonight?
Yeah, I think Rodney, he trying to get him a little bit more goal threatening, a little bit more around the box and having an impact. But Rodney's work ethic and his running, it's tireless. That position that we have these guys, a little bit of the change that we've started to do with Ethan and Emmy and Rodney and obviously Diego now coming back in. It's about being vertical. It's about having an awareness to be able to be in pockets, but it's running behind the line and rivaling in the box. And certainly when it's time to defend, you got to do your work. So those guys have performed extremely well in the last few weeks, and it's indicative of them continuing to play and also the results that the team gets. So really pleased for Rodney, as well as obviously Emmy came in as well, and Ethan contributed in Seattle, and tonight had a solid game as well.
And can I sneak one
Yeah,
little
no problem,
I'm
Michelle.
sorry.
Go ahead. Yeah, of course.
I saw fans hugging, kissing each other. They were so happy. I mean, I have it on video. It's hilarious. It's amazing, right? I haven't seen that in forever.
No.
But can you talk about a little bit the momentum? I mean, back-to-back wins. I know it's a quick turnaround. We talked to Zardes yesterday.
Yeah.
Mentioned of the importance of possibly gaining this momentum.
Yeah, the momentum is real. I think I've been in this league long enough. You win 3 games in a row, you can go from bottom of the table up to the playoffs. You can go from the playoffs into second, third, fourth place. So we're not there yet, but I think the guys feel the momentum, and we talk about what it looks like and metrics that we use, things that we monitor and measure each game by, and we can see it coming, we can feel it coming, and we keep that right in front of the players. And obviously, it's gratifying when you score goals and win games, both for the players and, as you said, the fans are having a good time, enjoying each other, loving on each other. So we're all glad and we're all happy to be part of that. I'll do my part as best I can, but it's a surreal atmosphere. Again, Q2 is incredible, and our fans, supporter section, but the entire place is incredible. And all we want to do, or certainly what we're here to do, is to entertain and to bring them joy. And joy typically comes with goals, the green lights, and wins. So we want to keep pushing that.
Thanks, everyone.
You
Thanks,
bet.
Coach.